This episode is brought to you by AAMI. Clangers happen. Lucky you're with AAMI. Welcome back, everyone. Another massive episode of Tommy Talks this week. We are joined by the Adelaide Crows skipper, Geordie Dawson, in the building, and wasn't he on fire? We spoke about it all. The trade, why he left the Swannies and went to the Crows. Life as a skipper after 1 year, how that would be. Just imagine what that's like. And that goal after the siren in the showdown, his first one. We break it all down. We talk about all his teammates, his golf, his handicap, his coach, everything. We talk about absolutely everything. So make sure you tune in. You'll really like this one and enjoy. Aces, I know I always go on about the RIXXs, but I got huge news. We have all our styles and colours restocked on the website right now. It's been months. We ran out of stock, but we're back. Get online, grab some sunglasses at rixxeyewear.com.au right now and use our little discount code ACES if you want a 20% discount code on the house. Righto, let's get into the show. Welcome back, everyone. Another episode of Tommy Talks. Geordie is in the building, the skipper of the Crows. Finally, we've got someone from SA in the building. We've been chatting for ages. Big fan of the pod as well. I know you listen all the time. So, Pig, if you're listening, mate, we've got another number one supporter that's the nut might have to go to two. But great, man. Welcome to the studio. Finally, great to see you in person.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tommy.
No, it's a pleasure. We'll start off with a bit of golf because we always chat in golf and it's a bit hard to get on the course down here at the moment in Melbourne. We have to go to your home track in Adelaide. But I saw that graphic come out. I think it was yesterday and it had everyone's handicap. Might have been on Fox Sports Instagram. I didn't see your name in there. So I was wondering, have you been rolled? What's your handicap?
I've been rolled, mate. I think it's just the Melbourne-based teams or something.
Yeah, that's what a few of the Giants boys said.
I think I know a few Port boys are off pretty low, but yeah, I'm off 5 at the moment. But
bang! See, that would have been number 2 or 3. I think Mitchy Lewis was.
I did see Mitch Lewis is off.
He's 0.
Yeah, he's off scratch. Yeah, it's impressive.
5's impressive, man.
Yeah, mate. To be fair, I don't play to it as much as I should, but I know Big Fog would probably be listening. He's off about 12, and he actually rolled me yesterday. So it's disappointing when that gets done. Yeah, so I'll probably put the sticks in the garage for a month or so.
Do you get a bit like you want to win game day? You know, when you're playing with your mates, but you want to keep that handicap as low as possible, don't you?
Oh, mate.
And it's hard. It'd be hard to win when you got a 5 and you're playing a 12.
It is hard, and Fog, he lets you know about it too. And a few of the boys, Tex is off. He's off probably 13 or 14.
Is he a bandit? Should he be 10?
He probably should be, but he's pretty happy being conservative with the handicap and coming out once every 8 weeks and rolling us. So, I want to play more. I need to get out more, but I've got the mantle at the club at the moment, so I'm pretty happy with it.
That's great. There's been talk for a long time. There's been a concept. I've heard it. I've wanted to get involved some way, shape or form, but having one representative from each footy club, and I think this thing could be televised as well, and like a little mini Masters, a little AFL Masters. I think the NRL boys would jump in as well. All the other codes, if they can play golf and they're good, they represent their club, and you stream it for a day. I reckon it would be an amazing event to watch.
Mate, sounds like you should start something there.
Well, I think, I just think it'd be, I think you got to, there's a lot of work involved, but imagine how much fun that would be just to watch. There's a lot of good golfers around Australia that play professional sport. And imagine all the Crows getting behind you and, the Hawks boys behind Mitchie and whatnot. It'd be pretty exciting.
It'd be unreal. I actually played in the Blitz Golf start of the year, and the concept of that's pretty cool. Like it's 6 holes, and then they cut the field in half, and then they play 3, cut the field in half, and play 1. So that would be pretty cool. Like rather than obviously your 4-day or 1-day event, it's like it's almost like T20 cricket. It's just blitz 6 holes, and the best half get through. So
that would do me, man. My first 3, it takes me 3 to warm up. Then I start seeing them well.
I was playing with actually Glenn Maxwell, and he dragged about 100 people, and I was like shitting them on the first tee. And I've gone par birdie, and I'm thinking, how good is this? Like, I'm going to win this thing. And then I come out and had a triple on the third par 5. And then
that's always the way when you start thinking like that. It's amazing, the mental game. Mate, let's jump into some footy. I've got plenty of questions to ask you. Obviously, we've both played in Sydney. You were at the Swannies and I was at the Giants. And we've got a lot of mutual friends. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about, life growing up. Just give us a little bit of an insight, what you were like as a kid, sports you played, and then jump straight into early days at Swannies.
Yeah, I was very fortunate growing up. I grew up in Robe, which is about three hours south of Adelaide. So small seaside town. Old man was a crayfisherman. Older brother and sister. So literally just sport was my life. Footy, cricket, golf from an early age. And mate, just loved cruising around the town. Was a bit of a bodyboarder, so I got a bit of shit from the surfers. But no, mate, to be honest, very, very fortunate with my life kind of growing up, and then transitioned to Scotch in Adelaide in year 11. Played footy just at school, bit of Glenelg, kind of rep footy as well growing up, and then went and played footy at Sturt the year after I finished school as a 18-year-old. I was young for my years, so transferred out to Sturt and played a few reserves game and then some league footy, and then went over to Sydney.
There you go. And I looked at you. You're pretty not late, but not early. Like you're the captain of Adelaide at a very young age. Very talented. Kinnear Beats, and he knows how to find a gem. He's a good family friend, Beats. But you went pick. What was it?
56.
56. Like I was saying to Swanee and Lockie Neal, they were 58. There's something around these is that third round?
Yeah, I think
third round 50s picks. There's a lot of gems around there, and blokes like me at pick 16, waste of your time. You've got to look for the gems in that. But what's it like going around there? Did you feel like you should have went earlier, or were you still pretty raw?
No, I was very raw. I was a bit of a late bloomer. I think when I was like 18, or 17, I was probably under 6 foot, and then kind of turned 18, and I was 6, probably 2 or 3, and then I don't know. I just played some decent footy at Sturt in the reserves and the league, and I was a bit of a tubby sort of 18-year-old.
Oh, really? Involved?
Yes. Oh, mate, I reckon they were 80-odd.
Oh, that's high. I mean, I had 60s. 80 is good.
At the combine, the state combine, they were pretty high. So, but yeah, I mean, I was always very talented, but I was definitely very intimidated kind of going to Adelaide and playing those sort of junior years. It was a big kind of daunting thing. So very fortunate that Kinnear and Sydney picked me up. And mate, to be fair, I was not expecting to go in the national. I was kind of just hoping for rookie. So yeah, to get 2 years straight off the bat I was pretty lucky. Yeah,
it's good. I mean, you just have to show. I mean, watching you game day, you've got one of the most beautiful kicks going around. Like it's, you can just tell someone of Kinnear Beats, and he would have just seen that and gone, "Yep, not going to tell anyone about this," and not even going to tell you. You're probably thinking, rookie draft, not going to the national, but to do all your testing. But yeah, it's great. And you're just on that, because a lot of people listening are young, and they might be trying to be getting drafted. But you talked about a bit intimidated. What was going through your head there? And now looking back, was there anything you'd change?
Oh, I don't know if I'd change anything. I think, it's just one of those things. Growing up in a small town, you're in a real kind of small fishbowl, and then your eyes kind of open to what the real world's like when you come to Adelaide. Now looking back, Adelaide's pretty small in comparison to everywhere else. So, I mean, I loved sport, and I think the love for kind of footy just outweighed that intimidation from those other players, and you just build confidence. It's like when you first start playing AFL, like each week you kind of build confidence on your game and what you can do at certain levels. And I think moving to boarding school was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. Took me out of my comfort zone a bit and got to meet people in Adelaide and also play footy in a different place. And I was able to kind of, each step I went up, I got used to it and was able to perform as well. Yeah,
well said. Getting out of your comfort zone, spot on. Was there any games back there what about local days? Like, did you used to chop up? I love asking people, what kind of player were we seeing? Midfielder, best in the league? What kind of?
I was actually, for Robe, I'd play midfield, but I'd just like sag off the back and be like a half back. So like as a spare basically. So teams in that league, obviously, underage, you don't really know what's going on. So you think you're playing mid and then just play as a defender. So a lot of cheap kicks off the half back line, mate.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then at school footy, when I shot up a bit in year 12, I actually played out the cage as a full forward. So
really?
Yeah, I was steam training out of full forward. So hopefully I can get in there a bit more, and the AFL team would be nice.
I like it when you rest forward. You're very hard to match up on. And I
like it too. Maybe you can tell Nixie that.
I will tell Nixie. Yeah, I do know Nixie quite well. We'll talk about Nixie in a second. I saw he spilt the Pepsi all over himself last week. I really enjoyed that.
And the fly on the forehead the week before.
Yeah,
so
he's had a bit of a mare in the box. And then just Swanee's days. Talk, because you played half back there, didn't you? Wing?
Yeah, half forward.
half forward as well. You kicked it up. But like, what was it like there? We'll get to why you left and whatnot. Was it homesickness, or were you not happy with not playing in certain? I don't know. But what do you remember of the Swannies and the culture there and your time there?
But it was awesome. I think, obviously, as you know, like a lot of people were from interstate in Sydney, and I think we probably had 5 to 10 guys that are actually local guys. So we just grew up together, really, 18 to sort of 23 or 4 I was at the end. You live together. You live in houses of 3 with the new draftees and stuff. So the stories and the banter back and forth with like Darcy Cameron, Tommy Papley, Colin O'Riordan. I live with Tommy McCartan, Will Hayward, James Rose. So all those guys, all ripping fellas, and like you kind of learn your way through the system and the professionalism and stuff. You learn that together. So the culture there was awesome, and I honestly loved my time in Sydney. Very intense place, so as you know, it's busy. There's people everywhere. So there was that side of things where we'll talk about it a bit later. But that's probably why in the end I wanted to move on.
Whereabouts were you living in Sydney? I think Sydney's the greatest place in Australia. I'd like to for a lifestyle. I think Gold Coast has the sun. Sydney's got better beaches and I reckon a bit more vibe and a few more options. You don't get the sport, but it's only an hour flight to Melbourne. And, I just feel like Sydney is the grouse. So where were you living? What were your favourite hotspots?
Sydney's awesome. I lived in pretty much Maroubra the whole time.
All you boys lived out. Why don't you just live more in Bondi?
Oh, because the club...
it's around the corner.
Yeah, I know, but they rent the houses and then obviously like 3 guys will live in the housing...
Gotcha.
They called it the housing program. So usually first, second and third year would live together. And obviously a house in Bondi is probably a bit too out of the price range for the club.
Yeah, so early days, 100%.
So I was Maroubra and then lived with Tommy Papley for a year in Coogee and then went back to Maroubra. So
what was that like?
It was pretty wild. He's a crazy guy. So he's he's an intense unit, but I loved living with him. It was, like you said, such an awesome spot as well. Like Coogee, we were just walking down Coogee Bay Road to the beach. It was awesome.
Coogee Pav's probably one of the best. Burleigh Pav, Coogee Pav, they're some of the greatest establishments in Australia, I reckon. And that Coogee Pav, I've never had a bad night on a Sunday.
It'd be sickening to know how much money they roll in as well with those joints.
And they're strict on the door. It's like when they're knocking people back, it's pumping.
Yes, yeah.
Dress code and whatnot. No, that's awesome. Did you say Will Hayward's good mates of yours?
Yep.
I think he's out of contract. Are you trying to lure him back to Adelaide?
I don't talk about people from other clubs, mate. Nah, mate. He's one of those guys who's just any club he's at, he's going to make him better. But I was lucky to live with him for a year, and he's similar to Paps. He's just very energetic, social guy, and one that you love being around.
And doing some great things. We'll talk about off field, but the Doozy, they got the drink label there, the alcoholic beverage, and it's great to see them having a crack off field. I love seeing blokes have a crack and dominating on. I think he's kicked 4 goals 2 weeks in a row at the moment as we record this podcast. He's on fire.
He's playing some good football.
Goes very under the radar, but now he's starting to get a bit more limelight because he's out of contract. So Sydney days, and then let's get to you played 50 or 60 there, so you're a really important player. What's it like when you're out of contract and you're getting all these offers to come home? What was going through your head? Because you do fight the loyalty test, but then you're also like, well, I can set my family up for the future. I can also go see my family every week. Yeah. What goes through your head when you're out of contract, even with like 12 weeks to go and you're playing well?
Oh, well, it wasn't really on the radar as much as some guys, I suppose, until the back end of the year. And for me, I actually didn't really entertain the idea of leaving at all for the first half of the year. And then we went back into the COVID hubs kind of midway through 2021, and then just being in Melbourne, we're at the Como for, I don't know, I think like 5 to 10 weeks. It was a long time bouncing in and out of there, and it's such a weird feeling. I mean, it's obviously you're in a great spot because you want, people kind of want you, and you're getting interest from elsewhere, but it was also probably one of the harder times of my life, just trying to navigate where I wanted to go with footy, but also life. And I suppose I eventually got to the stage where I thought probably more outside of football, what do I want to be doing? Where do I want my lifestyle to be? Obviously having family around more, being able to go home more. And like I said, Sydney was a very intense city, and to kind of have that different environment felt like probably the right move at that stage.
Yeah, love it, and love how you summed it up. Let's talk about Adelaide and Port Adelaide. I'd imagine they were both throwing the kitchen sink. But who'd you grow up, like when you grew up, who'd you barrack for?
I was an Adelaide man.
Oh, so that helps.
Yeah, it does, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'd had interest from Adelaide probably a couple of years before as well, which kind of didn't forget, I suppose. I always knew that they were keen on me. So still obviously went to Port and had the conversations I needed to have just to make sure I had all the information on the table. But growing up, watching showdowns and being that kind of Adelaide supporter and watching Rashudo and McLeod and those guys do their thing, that really just
the Birdman.
Yeah, the Birdman. Love the Birdman.
I love the Birdman.
So those guys, just watching those guys grow up, and that was where I wanted to be.
That's actually cool. I didn't know that you barracked for Adelaide growing up. I barracked for Essendon, and I'm just like, it's a different, it's a business. But as a kid, there's so much passion and emotion involved, and to then be able to play for your club, it's amazing. And then be able to be able to captain would be another thing. And this is something that probably caught everyone off guard. Anyone that didn't know you, I'm talking internally. What you've been able to do is extraordinary. To be able to go from a club and then be the skipper it was 1 year, wasn't it? So 1 year and then a skipper. I've seen blokes like a Matt De Boer go from 1 year and then in the leadership group, and just see the impact that he has on and off the field with players. But to see someone like you go from Sydney to Adelaide and then skipper the next year and then all Australian, I don't remember anyone doing it. It's amazing, and what you did is crazy. So well done. But talk to me about how hard was it to rock up as the gun new recruit, knowing how, you've got all these aspirations to be the skipper and whatnot, and then having the tag on your name, after going, the blokes that were there before you. But how was the pressure of all that? You clearly handled it well, but give us some advice to anyone else out there that might be doing that.
To be honest, I think I looked back, looking back on it, the influences I had at Sydney, I had some of the best role models to learn off through my 6 years there with, I'll probably miss a few, but Jared McVeigh, Josh Kennedy, Luke Parker, Dane Rampy, Kieran Jack, the list goes on. They're some of the all-time greats, and to have them kind of, without even knowing, I was learning off them and learning different different leadership methods, I suppose, and qualities. And to get to Adelaide and like you said, as a recruit, I was always kind of just like a good kind of half back, and then to get Adelaide and have this kind of the media around it and have this kind of pressure I was a bit taken back at the start I kind of was thinking, how am I meant to live up to this kind of standard that they're already holding me to? And then, I suppose a year later to be captain, I definitely didn't see it coming, and I definitely didn't have aspirations when I first went there to be captain, and it wasn't something that was promised by them when I got there. They obviously said that they saw great leadership in me, and I've always felt like I could be a good leader without actually ever being a captain of any footy team in my life. To be there for a year and then captain, I definitely struggled a bit with it early. I felt like a bit of an imposter, to be honest. The first couple of months, I was like, I think my first address to the boys in the preseason game, I think I started laughing. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here, boys? I don't know. I don't even know. But I think the biggest lessons I learned from that period of unsure, I kind of knew Sloaney might move on from captain and just focus on footy. And then I thought, well, who is it going to be? I was thinking, sure, it might be me. Surely not. I don't know. And Tex and Sony sat me down and they said, mate, just be you, because you're in this position, you're even in this conversation because of who you are and the person and the leader you've already been. So if you get the role or not, just don't change, just keep doing what you're doing.
Great advice.
That was the best thing that I probably heard at that stage, because I remember chatting to my partner Millie and I was stressing over it. I was like, fuck, how am I meant to do this? The whole state, they love footy. If I don't play well, what happens? I'll be in the gun for the whole year. All these negatives go through your head, which is just natural as a person, I think. But to get that advice from them, and then obviously Millie just bouncing ideas off her, and she was a great support for me and always has been. So definitely Tex and Sony helping me through the last year, just I just got confidence each and every week. I reckon the longer the year went on, the better I felt in that role and the better I probably played as well.
Love it. And you're right about that advice, just be yourself, because sometimes you do see people once they get the title or even just being in the leadership group, they're just a little bit different or not as approachable. Maybe they're, I don't know, they might change to a little bit of the system. So I think someone that stays true to exactly why people voted you in is great advice. And you see that with a Texan, like you just can tell he's never changed who he is. He goes out there, you get what you get, and
to his own detriment sometimes.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. At least you get what you get,
Exactly.
But then to perform like you did, like you said, you're in the guts and dominating. You would have taken a lot of confidence out of your performance. I would have thought is the main thing.
Yeah, definitely. We started 0-2 and I was playing half-back and I wasn't really playing that well. And I remember sitting down with Nixie and we kind of knew what we needed to do in terms of the midfield just with our shape on the ground. And I was like, mate, I reckon I can play this role for us. And I trained it in the pre-season. Like I wouldn't mind kind of having a crack in there because like I said, I wasn't playing the footy I wanted to down back. And then thankfully, Nathan Van Burlo, the mids coach, and obviously all the coaches were on board, but Nixie and Nathan just kind of let me play that midfield role. And like I said to you before, each week I kind of gained confidence in different areas. And I think the first month I was just sweeper at CBs. I wasn't getting any hit twos.
That's what you should be, by the way. Feed that to that left peg.
I was just sitting there just holding back and yeah, like to have the other boys in there, Lairdy and Crouchy and Jakey Sligo coming through. And
he's on fire, isn't he?
Yeah, Harry Schoenberg, Sloaney, like those guys just learning little things off them. They were a massive part to kind of my growth in there as well.
I love it. Yeah, well, it was a great move from Nixie. So just for a heads up, anyone listening, he was the ball movement coach when I was at the Giants and loved his energy, loved the way he explained the game. So let's just park our convo here a second because I want to talk about you boys. You play such an attacking game style and a very exciting, I would have thought, to watch TV. This year, I've just noticed it's a little bit different. It's been a bit more defensive kick mark early in the year. Definitely changed probably the last couple of weeks. And the hard thing with these podcasts is we record this, round 10? But what changed from like last year to this year? Because you probably, this is my opinion, you don't look as quick. You aren't going as, I don't know, it's not as, wouldn't say exciting, but you guys were just like on turnover, go. It was like anyone that plays Adelaide, do not turn the ball over because they're going. But you're a bit more slow this year. Is that deliberate or what's the game plan change this pre-season?
It definitely wasn't deliberate. I think the first month we probably got a bit of an uppercut from the competition and we just weren't confident with the way we were playing in all aspects, and our contests and our shape on the ground was pretty poor. And then so off the back of that, you're kind of on the back foot when you get the ball. Like you're defending a lot more, so you're less likely to take risks and move the ball the way you want to. So to get our ball movement going, we've literally just nailed our shape and our contest, and naturally we've got a lot of talented guys, especially in the front half, that are exciting when they get the ball and they create. So there wasn't a conscious shift in the way we want to play, but there's definitely been a conscious effort to increase our contests and just hold a bit better shape as a group. And with that, we've had a fair change of personnel down back as well, with a few injuries off those kind of rebounding half backs. So a lot of guys still learning the craft down there as well. So that kind of impacts the way we want to play as well.
It's amazing when you go in, when you do get the uppercut and you're on your back foot and everyone goes into their shell naturally, like defenders start going one-on-one, not playing off it and all that kind of stuff, and ball movement does take a hit. You've answered that beautifully. Righto, let's go back to what I was talking about before because we parked it. But there's a question coming from the Aces, and I appreciate everyone that always asks questions, but the showdown, this is this makes me so happy. It doesn't matter who it is, especially when it's you, a great person, but someone that's arrived to the club and whatnot. But I want to take ourselves back to this moment, the showdown when, I think, what was the bloke that got injured?
Lockie Murphy.
Murph got injured, and you're standing there. And honestly, everyone watching was like, it could not be in better hands. And we've all seen the highlight. If anyone can't remember it, it wasn't your most beautiful kick. It had just come back at the end and nearly shaved the post, but it doesn't matter how they go in. But I want to go right back to that moment, like literally when Murph goes off and you get the ball, new club, just take me through the whole thing because I love it. It's probably one of the best highlights. Every time you play Port, I just can't wait to see that again.
Mate, to be fair, it's I reckon I'll look back on it at the end of my career and probably think how good it was.
You'll watch it a million times when you finish.
Yeah, I've watched it a fair few times, and I don't actually know like anymore what I felt or if I'm like reliving it and telling myself that's what happened. But at the time, I remember Murph got hit and I went to pick up the ground ball and I got tackled, and obviously the whistle went and the play stopped. And I just remember thinking, because Murph had a bad neck, so he had surgery in the preseason. He's probably played a month of footy before that game, and I remember he was on the ground holding his neck. So instantly I was like thinking, oh shit, he's hurt his neck again. He's going to be paralysed or something. I just thought it was pretty bad. And then I remember looking, and I actually point to Josh Rochelle because he's near Murph, and I was like thinking, all right, well, Murph's down, who's going to take the kick? And I looked at the umpire and I was like pointing at Rash because I think he had the ball, or one of us had the ball, but I pointed at him thinking, oh, he might have the kick. And then the umpire pointed at me. So I was thinking, oh, fuck, here we go. Like, so I went back, as you do, you have your routine and whatever.
What's your routine? Did you do it?
I did it, yeah, I did it. I take 5 or 6 kind of walking steps, and then I do a bit of a quick jog step, and then get on the move. And I remember thinking at the back of my mark, I was like, just don't kick the ground. Like, that was what I was thinking. Just don't duff it like a good wedge. Yeah, don't
be on the tee in the grass.
No, don't do that. So, and what actually calmed me down was I was directly behind the Hill scoreboard, and I remember looking up and I saw Nixie in the box, and he gets up and he starts laughing and shaking his head. And I was standing at the end of my run up, and I was looking up behind the goals, and I see Nixie laughing, and for whatever reason, it actually calmed me down a bit. And then, went into the run up and just hit it on the instep on purpose, just so that it kept everyone on their feet and just faded back. But I remember I hit it and I just thought, oh, that's shit. That is a shit ass kick. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea how it came back. But
the footy gods,
you're
a good man, and you deserved it. Yeah. And what was the feeling like when all the ball? Because you've grown up for the club. It's not like you're playing for a club that you've just been. You grew up like barracking for the Crows. This is every kid's dream, dude. Like, was it just a high of all highs that night?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, and watching so many showdowns, like the Monfries bounce and stuff. I remember watching them live, and just there's so many moments in showdowns that have been created over the history of the club, and for that to be like my first showdown and to do that, like it's so special, and it's something that I'll definitely like probably cherish forever. But I don't even know, like, I've never done a double cobra, but for some reason I've gone double cobra, and like, yeah, I can't even explain like afterwards how it felt. I remember getting home and just laughing, like I was in bed just laughing, just thinking how good's that. But
was the family there? Was your family at the game?
No, they weren't. They were watching at home.
They would have been going wild.
Yeah.
Imagine how nervous you would be as your family watching. It's harder to watch than play. You just get so nervous because you got no control.
I know.
And I could only imagine like the folks watching that and just going, oh.
But yeah, one of my one of Millie's best friends was there, and she was like down in the stand, like
couldn't watch.
She was just shaking, like couldn't watch, and she was filming her, and they obviously went ballistic, and yeah, very, very surreal moment, and yeah, I hope I get one of them again one day. But
so do we all. Like I actually was flat that it didn't happen to Tex when Draper jumped on the ball.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to rub it in, but just the moment, I just wanted to see the kick, because sometimes you do miss, but sometimes you kick it, and I don't think we see, we just don't. You don't see many goals after the siren, and I just think everyone that watches it goes, oh, like, do I even want this kick? And it's just one of those ones that it's a pleasure to watch.
It is, and it's like, I don't know. Everyone did it as a kid. Like you're out the front of your house or whatever, kicking. I used to kick under the roof of my house, and we'd have like the pillars out the front, and you just pretend like the siren's gone and you're kicking the winning goal. So it was very cool. I wish Tex had a shot. I'd put money on it. He's a beautiful set shot.
There's so many good forwards. Let's talk about some of the your forwards at Adelaide. There's so much talent up there. I'm a big believer in the Fog. I love watching him play. He's a real strong kick, and he's just going to keep getting better. I think people don't realise how hard it is for key position players. They take a bit longer. And then you've got like Rankin and Rochelle, and I mean the list goes on. I think Saligo was forward. Now he's mid. He's been unreal to watch this year. I could name a fair few, but like, what's it like playing with these guys? And do they, have you seen some freaky stuff that maybe we haven't seen yet at training?
Oh, mate, Isaac Rankin, when he first got to the club, like the goals that he kicks in games are like probably half as good as what he does at training. And with his first month within the club, he just was running to the boundary, snapping him over his shoulder, just like, so it's no wonder in game he kicks some of the goals he does just because he trains it, but he does it in training as well. And like Tex to do what he did last year as a key at 34 or whatever he was and kick 70 goals, like he's just a freak. And Fog as well, both left and right foot, like you'd back him in to kick a set shot from anywhere on both feet. So we're very fortunate of the forwards we've got, and we just got to try and get it down there more for them and put it there to their advantage and let them go to work.
Well, once it's in there, yeah, it's dangerous. You guys are, as I said, very exciting to watch. What have you taken of the year so far? I mean, we'll get back to the All-Australian year in a second. I'm jumping around, but what have you taken so far? It's a long season. It's a marathon. Obviously, said a little uppercut to start, but you've gathered yourselves. But how would you what's been your message as the skipper to the boys the last month?
Just to stay consistent with our training standards and what we're doing off field, because I think, like you said, the last month we've played really good footy. We've won 3, we had a draw and lost 1, I reckon, in the last sort of 5 weeks. So we're playing some good footy. Obviously, you can't do anything about the first month. It's disappointing to start like that, but like you said, it's a long year and our contest and our shape is back. Guys are getting more confident in their role and their own abilities. So I don't know, as a skipper, that's all I'm trying to do is just trying to empower a lot of the younger guys coming through and just give them as much belief as I have in them, and just hope that they kind of keep taking the next step and makes all our leaders' job a bit easier if they're playing good footy. Like Jake, he's playing super footy and he's just kept it simple and just nailing his contests and his effort, and he's so clean when he gets the ball, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
He's probably been the most improved player, I reckon, this year. I reckon in the comp. Is it no one like you guys knew that was happening? Like, was he playing on ball all preseason? You're like, this guy's just on fire.
Yeah, he was the best. He was the best preseason trainer by far.
Yeah.
He hurt his ankle maybe 3 weeks to a month before our first preseason game, but before that, he was by far the best player.
What about for all the Adelaide fans? Any young guns coming through the twos that is still pretty raw, but someone like a Jakey Saligo that's the next one?
We've got a few young guys coming through, like Bill Dowling's pushing his case to play AFL. Dan Curtin is playing Sample now, but some of the stuff he does for 6'5", silky halfback, like he's got tremendous upside, and he'll be a star player in the future. He's like all young guys have got a bit to work on, but he's had a taste for it, so hopefully he kind of improves. And then I think like Luke Nankervis, he's playing AFL at the moment, but he's only just scratching the surface of what he can do at that level, and he's jumped around a little bit in roles. He's kind of a bit wing, bit half back, so I'm excited about kind of what he's got to offer as well.
It is hard when you're jumping around, especially AFL. The roles are so important and different. Speed of the game. Let's go back to the draw. Me and the Pig, we have our AFL Aces Premiership Countdown footy show every week, and we talk about the hottest topics, and the draw's been one, and we hate the draw. Watching it, I don't think I've played in one. I think Pig, I don't think he has either, but the draw, it's horrific in my opinion, and I think a lot of fans would love like the NFL and NBA especially, a bit of overtime or a shootout like the soccer. What's your thoughts on the draw? What would you love to see?
Oh,
do you like the 2 points, or would you like to change it up and take the 4?
Well, it's a weird one because halfway through the last quarter, we were down by 3 goals, and if you'd said you're going to have a draw, I would have taken it, taken it straight away. So, but then we got up by a goal, and where they were on the field, I was a bit like, if the siren could go, that'd be great. I was deep in the back line. I was just praying the siren went. So, I personally probably want a result. Like it's such a weird feeling walking off the oval, but it adds a bit of I don't know, I suppose back end of the year it's a bit of a spectacle. Like a few teams have got 2 points and it changes the ladder, and
That's the only positive.
That's the only positive, I think. It's very disappointing. Like the fans, they're kind of left pretty shattered as well.
Everyone's shattered.
Yeah,
like everyone watching's like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know. it doesn't bother me too much. But on the weekend, I was happy with the draw, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I think when you're playing, you don't think about it too much. I think when you're out of the game line and you're just sitting there watching,
What would you do?
We had a good discussion. I do like 5 each way. I think there's 3 each way or whatever it is, but I'd love 5 each way. And then at the end of that, a little bit like soccer, all the teams on the side and you can't go over a line. They can get the paint out, whatever, and you got 5 kickers, and you pick your 5. You know what I mean? And you pick your best 5, and they're going to kick from 45 out or 40 out on a little bit of an angle. I reckon that's the go, and then it's just. Mate, it's on,
Can you set up the gauntlet as the opposition team?
And the full gauntlet, spy cam, everything. I want everything. It's an entertainment business at the end of the day. I don't think it would happen more than once a year, maybe. So when it does happen, I'll tell you what.
We've already had 2 this year.
I know. We've had 2 this year, but I reckon if you had a draw, like if this was the rules for a draw, the whole of Australia would be like, there's a draw, and they'd all turn the TV on just to watch this gauntlet.
It would be pretty sick.
But yeah, I just thought I'd ask you because you just come off one and. Yeah, it's like a funeral, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
We haven't lost, but we haven't won. It's like no one wants to talk. It's a bit weird.
Probably sums our year up so far, to be honest. Just taking 2 points and.
Well, what are we going to see for the rest of the year? What's Nixie got cooking up for us?
Like I said, the last kind of month has been really good. We've played some good footy, and I feel like we're just starting to kind of hit our straps a bit. So we've got a tough few weeks coming up, but I'm so confident in the group. We've had a few injuries and whatnot, but we got a few guys coming back in about a month. So I think, I don't want to look too far ahead, but the way we're playing,
one game at a time.
Yeah, the old cliche, one game at a time.
It literally is that though, isn't it? Just one at a time.
Because the comp's so tight, so you can't start looking past teams. But I'm really happy with kind of where we're at now and where we're playing, how we're playing, and where we're kind of trending to. It's because it was pretty grim there the first month, but we've found our feet now and. Yeah, we've got guys playing some good footy, so we just got to keep the ball rolling a bit.
Love it. What about Adelaide as the town? What's the hot spots? If I come to town, we're going to play some golf. Is it a winery? What's your favourite pub, beach? Give me a little bit of a tourism advice.
I play at Glenelg Golf Club.
Yep.
Cracking club. If you're no good out of bunkers though, don't bother rocking up.
No, sand man, don't mind the sand.
Take the towel there.
Just absolutely pelt the sand about that far in front of it, and hopefully it pops up.
So Glenelg's good, and then Henley Beach is a good spot in the city. I like to head down south to like McLaren Vale. It's a beautiful area. There's heaps of wineries, heaps of good little cafes and stuff down there, and restaurants. And then it's probably like 10 minutes from the beach as well, where there's beautiful beaches where there's no one actually there a lot of the year. So, and that's probably like half an hour out of the city. So.
Pretty close.
Adelaide cops a bit of shit for the city itself, but if you just venture out a little bit, it's a cracking spot, and it's always quiet too, which is nice. Especially down south, I love it. Yeah.
What about the beaches, Sydney to Adelaide? How far off are Adelaide ones to Sydney's, or are they on par?
Nah, fair way off.
Fair way off.
Yeah, they're the city beaches. They're
a bit like Melbourne's.
Yeah, a bit like Melbourne. Beach. A bit better than Melbourne, I'd say. But Sydney's beaches are awesome.
They are.
If you can fight through the crowd on a summer's day, but
you're not getting a park.
Nah,
you need a little Vespa or whatever. I know it's when I lived with Toby. I used to sit in the back, just cruise around in the back. It's the only way to get around. Oh. You're not getting a park, and if you are, you're getting. It's like $15 for 15 minutes.
So what you he'd ride one of them to training?
The little, what do you call them? Little mopeds or whatever they were, and I just jump on the back, put the helmet on, and mate, we would go to Bondi. We'd eat dinner, go to Bondi, have a swim. It'd be dark, because this is pre-season, kind of start of the season. Once the sun starts setting, back on, cold shower, bed. Like, it was like some of the best lifestyle, routine I've ever had. Amazing.
It's
and in and out because the security, there's no drama. It's just straight up past Rose Bay Golf Course, and then
you were living the high life up at Potts Point though.
Yeah. Point Piper actually. Yeah, that's what they'd always say. Yeah. Potts Point. No. Yeah. Point Piper.
even better.
Walk around. What's his name? Malcolm Turnbull. There you go, Malcolm. He literally lived around the corner. I didn't know where I was living. Like, I just got lucky because there was a spare room at the Great Man's at the time, and then we had my last year. I was only there for 2, but the COVID year, so the hub. We were stuck in Queensland and Perth for most of ours, not Melbourne like you boys. But I didn't realise how lucky I was till now. I think about all the pockets and spots and here where everyone lived, and it was a great spot. Double Bay up the road, mate. Sydney's so much fun. Like yeah, since like moving back to Melbourne, you just, you're not living around there. Got some mates that live in Bondi, but once you're in Bondi, you don't really leave Bondi.
No.
But love it. Yeah, it's
some
very
of the best
good.
cafes and bars and stuff like in Australia.
Speaking of cafes, give one out. I love a shout out to your local cafe, or is there too many you don't want to?
Oh, there's a few. Luma in Henley Beach just opened up. One of Brodie Smith's good mates, so I'll give that a shout out. It's a cracking little spot right next to Strong Pilates in Henley. So
love Strong.
Great coffee, great acai bowls too. So give them a
Very
shout out.
Healthy little precinct.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got your Pilates and you got your coffee. Mate. You can't go wrong there.
Good viewing, I would imagine. Yep. Beautiful.
Very good.
What about off field? What are the boys? What are you doing off field, and what are the other boys doing? Is there any entrepreneurs? Anyone doing something cool? Like, just give all the boys a shout out that are hustling off field.
Oh, most boys study. I'll give young Nettie McHenry a shout out. He's right into his fishing, and you probably wouldn't see as well. He does some Channel 7 stuff over there. So he's a reporter. He's a fishing reporter. Yeah,
what a weapon.
He's one of the greats. So Shark Tales on Instagram. I'll give them a shout out. He's just started. He what's the Moss guy in WA? I can't even remember his name. He follows him. He loves his fishing, and yeah, it's
him and Jesse Cameron should tee up. Outdoor athlete. He's now just Jesse Cameron on YouTube.
I watch a few of his YouTubes.
Yeah,
Ned definitely watches him.
Them two together, they should do a little collab in the off season. Both great fellas.
Well, I don't know what Jez is like, but Ned is just like a wound up toy. He's full of beans. So
is Jezza. Yeah. Jezza's on a farm. He literally he's a part-time footballer, he says. He's a full-time farmer and fisherman and whatnot. He's a machine, and he's flying. He's another one. If you're not listening, if you haven't followed, but Jezza Cameron on YouTube, he's got some great little vlogs. I saw one. He was in Adelaide. Those two should link up.
Yeah. Well, I know Nettie and Danger get along well, and they've got their North Bank boating. They've got their boats from there. So
do you fish much?
Oh, not much. My old man was a cray fisherman in Robe growing up, so I did a little bit when I was growing up, but not so much since I've been back in Adelaide.
Jeez, crayfish is something. Yeah, it's a very nice little meal to have when you're flying. Anyone else before we get into Nixie? But anything else? Any boys? What's Big Texan do off field? Just family man.
Not much, mate. Family man.
The radio. He's on the radio.
He's on the radio
sometimes.
Yeah, a few boys on the radio.
What about the big Fog?
Fog. He's got his F&F livestock back in Lucendale, so he does a bit of cattle, but he's a wannabe farmer. That guy, he thinks he knows it all. But Ned and Nick Murray actually have I think they've got a couple of thousand sheep, so that keeps them busy in the on the days off.
They're not shearing all those sheep, are they?
They do a bit, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no,
so he's a full blown. He loves it,
mate. Footy's his second job, mate.
Yeah, him and Jez are definitely going to link up.
Part-time.
Let's get to Nixie. I know all the Crows fans listening and watching would love to know a little bit more about the great man. I remember, as I said, when he was at the Giants, his energy was always high. His messaging for ball movement was consistent. I actually loved hanging out with him and talking to him. I was always kind of injured, so probably less stress for me. But I just loved the way he presented. The ball movement was thorough. And as I said, he had it down pat, and I always thought he had a great brain, for the game and whatnot. So to see him then get the head coach at Adelaide and kick on has been pretty rewarding, and seeing him spill his Pepsi can or whatever all over himself makes me laugh. But it is a stressful job, and I can tell, you can see, you see people in this head, like as I said, when you're the skipper or the coach, it's so stressful, especially if you're not getting wins. And what's he been like as a coach? Have you, what's he kind of brought to the table as a head coach? Because as I said, I've only ever known him as the ball movement coach.
Mate, he's like number one kind of philosophy is just prioritizing others. So he's always about making others, better than yourself and helping others at all times. So that just that in itself isn't footy based, but if you apply it to footy, it's massive. Just being a great teammate. He's been awesome for me. Being able to just kind of play footy and kind of play my natural game, but then obviously under his parameters as a coach has been one of the reasons why I've been able to kind of progress as a footballer. And he's just, like you said, he's just an all-time great guy as well. So he gets the buy-in from the boys, and he's always got consistent messaging as well, which is really important, especially through times of struggle like we've already had this year where we didn't win a game, and the heat's on him and myself and all the kind of leaders of the club to have someone as a solid kind of rock and foundation of the club and be consistent in the way you go about it is really important. And yeah, he's just one of the great guys as well. Like I said, you
can feel comfortable around him.
Yeah.
It's not like you don't feel scared when he walks past and whatnot. Does he still have his yellow and red card system outside 50?
Nah.
Doesn't he?
Nah.
Oh, I used to love that one.
Not for me anyway.
Yeah, not for you. Yeah, you can keep it at 60.
Nah,
yeah, actually, there's too many guns up there.
No, I haven't kicked many from outside 50.
We used to have a system. I'm pretty sure he implemented it, but it was like you had your license, and
Yeah.
I reckon
Did you have that or
Toby
not?
and Jez. No, I was in the bloody rehab room just trying to get me calf right because I was out for half the year. But I just used to sit at the back and just like laugh because blokes, there's always there'd be one a game where a bloke's outside 50 and he's had a shot or he's kicked a long point and he's like, yellow card. And then but I remember one day he actually brought up I don't know whether, because the Giants were flying. That's the year we went to the granny. And he goes, righto, boys, we might have struggled with ball movement, and he just like played. And then after a minute, it just cut to his highlights. It's one who's kicking a couple. Also, that's very good.
He kicked a few good goals too.
Yeah, you forget how good they are at playing, don't you?
Yeah.
You move on quite quickly. But yeah, he was a gun. He's got some good highlights.
To be fair, I actually didn't know he played AFL until I got to the club. I didn't realise he played 170 games even for Sydney. I had no idea.
Yeah, no, for the Swannies, he's a gun. I actually kind of remember him growing up. It's kind of our era. Although I'm a bit older than you. I'm 31 this year. You're 27?
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, so maybe a bit too young. But it's good. No, it's great to see, and hopefully you boys keep going. What about last year when with the goal ump? I was just thinking about how stiff you were. You've had some stiff moments in the last 12 months, but you missed out on that goal review. Like, what was the room like after that? How angry were you, or would you just be confused with what's going on, or what happened?
We were very confused with what happened because you don't assume that like the wrong decision's been made in the moment. But I don't know. To be fair, like we were down by I think 8 or 9 goals at one stage, and we'd come back, and it's an honest mistake from the umpire, and as flattening as it was our kind of, we felt the repercussions of that. But if you're leaving kind of a season up to a moment like that, you're probably not really a chance to win the whole thing anyway. So I didn't kind of get hung up on it too much because we had so many games where we made mistakes, just like the umpire did, where we cost ourselves. I don't know how many games we lost by under a goal, but we lost a lot more than what we won last year. So there was definitely a lot of anger and frustration at the time, but like, what do? You can't change a result, or
we get stuck on the last moment, don't we? And not the moments in the first and the second and the third. Especially as fans, it's always the last 5 minutes. But like, hang on, if we rewind, there's other moments. It's really well said by you. It's all class because you're like, we all make mistakes, but you're right. You kind of, your destiny's in your own hands, and you probably let it slip earlier in the game, or as you said, a few weeks earlier. So all class from you. I wouldn't expect anything less. Now let's go to our friends here at AAMI. All this wouldn't be possible without our friends at AAMI. And if you've got a clanger and you're in the local paddock and you've got one, send it in because you can win $15,000 for your local footy club. So make sure you get that into AAMI with your clangers. Now, speaking of clangers, we've all had one. I've had one of the biggest mares.
Yours.
I still need to watch the game. I still haven't watched the prelim. I've only watched me clanger. But no, hey, can you top my clanger, you reckon? Or
I don't think anything's topping that one.
I saw Cyril Rioli on TV the other night. I think it was the Suns v Geelong, and I'm like, oh, there's me, man. I can't shake it. I can't shake it. He's everywhere. For a bloke that's just kind of gone low key. But your AAMI clanger. What's probably been your biggest clanger on the field? That stands out for you, mate?
Mate, I think it was 2019. So you were at Giants.
Yep,
it was my first derby, and I remember I was playing wing, and I went forward and took a great contested mark and kicked the first goal of the game. And I was like, fuck, how good's this? Like I'm on like first derby, and like I'm playing well already. And then I think a couple minutes later, the ball transitioned down to like where Giants race is, and I've come across from the wing again and taken a good mark, and I'm like, fuck, I'm doing it at both ends here. And I've pushed back, and I saw Zach Jones about 40 out from like their goal, and I was like, I'll just pierce one through the middle here. and I've haven't put enough on it, and Lockie Whitfield's just stuck the one paw up and clunked it, and then going back and kicked the goal, and Big Mummy and Cogs come running over to me and smashing into me. Mummy's smashing into me, and I'm cost the boys a goal, and I'm thinking, oh fuck, what am I doing? Like I got no idea. So that was probably like the worst one, to just turning one over inside the forward 50, and the boys just ripping into me too. Like,
it's a fair dinkum rivalry, that game, and it's getting even better now with both teams going really well. Swanee's got the Giants boys, but yeah, nothing worse than getting one chopped off in the back 50.
Especially as like a younger guy in the first derby, and then getting the big fella getting stuck into me, bumping into me.
What did say?
I can't even remember, but
he's a big intimidating man if you don't know him, but he's actually a big cuddly bear. Like you walk around the gym and give him one, and he loves it. Like
I only heard positive things from when he was at the Swan.
Great.
So
he's so much fun to be around. He's like was he 38 going on 12?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to run into him though on a footy field.
Nah, he's so big. I know he corked me when I used to play at Freo. I remember him just tackling me and just bang Corky in the court. He's such a big man.
That would have been on purpose too. No
doubt. He's tactically very good. There you go. Well, another AAMI Clanger. We'll have to stack all these clangers up. It'd be a nice little highlight reel for anyone that loves that kind of stuff. What about off-season, mate? Where do you like to kind of recover after a long season? Do you get away? Do you like to just go home? Are you a bit of a traveller? What's kind of on your itinerary?
I love getting away, playing a bit of golf. So usually try and get a golf trip in at the end of the year for a couple of days or a week. Definitely get home for as long as I can. And not last year, but the year before, we went over to England. My partner, her family, her mum's side is from England, so went over there for a while. But not much, mate. I often do a lot of little trips, and getting to the age now where there's a lot of weddings, so I've got a few stacked up already for this off season. So I don't think I'll be getting away too much this off season.
The weddings do get, especially because of that COVID lull. Everyone's pushed them back, and mate, when you get to 30, there's a 30th on every Saturday night. It's just ridiculous. Righto, man. I'm just going to get the Aces questions. We love these, and there's some big fans of yours. I'll shout out one at the start. Archie Allen, if you're listening, mate, we love your questions. They're always in there, and geez, was he excited to see that you're jumping on. He was very excited. He even wrote a few questions and just a few statements. So I'll read the statement out. He goes, my AFL fantasy team name is Dawson's Pond, currently ranked 594 out of 160,000.
Wow.
So you're probably in that side. That's why.
So.
That's pretty hard to do, isn't he? He's right up there. That'd be very tough. Hopefully you go all the way, Arch. He's got a few questions, though. This one was around, did you expect your transition to the midfield to be so seamless?
No, because of, obviously other teams have star midfielders, and you don't really expect you can kind of come in and match up against them. But in saying that, I had confidence in being able to play the role. Like I said earlier, it's something that I trained a fair bit over both pre-seasons. I was there, and then as a junior playing midfield as well a lot. So I kind of knew a little bit about it, but I probably didn't expect to be able to play that position as well as I probably did last year.
Well said. Rank these beaches: Henley, Grange, Second Valley, Moana, Silver Sands, Middleton, and Port Elliot, I'd imagine. What's the top three?
Silver Sands.
Is that one?
Yep. Moana and Port Elliot.
Nice. I think I've been any of them. Not a question. You're just a superstar. Archie Allen again. He's got a few in here.
Thanks,
but I'll
Archie.
get one more from Archie. You're going to war tomorrow. All right? You're going to go to war. Name, he said 5, but we'll say 3. Current teammates you'd take with you on the front line. 3 blokes you're taking to war. It's not footy, it's war.
Yeah, you got to be strategic here.
Yeah, very strategic. Might need Nettie might need a run. He might be handy.
Yeah, Nettie would be good, but he's pretty small. You probably want someone to hide behind.
And he could be loud, like you said. Yeah, you don't want someone like that on the front line.
Nah, and he'd definitely get shot pretty quick. I'd probably go the big Texan.
Yeah,
he'd have your back. Nick Murray, he's an absolute weapon, and I wouldn't think he'd be scared of anything. And I'll go Nettie. Just add something different, real different element.
Like it.
If we need a decoy, we'll chuck him out there.
Mate, just couldn't you up there? Just going to see there over there.
Just go to have a look.
That is so good. How did he decide between the Crows and Port when moving back from Sydney from Dean Muir? We kind of touched on that, but that was a pretty easy decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It was growing up for Adelaide. Really respected Port like the whole way through, and even now still respect him a lot. But the decision was probably always going to be Adelaide.
Matty Hamilton, he's asked, what are Roo's pizza ovens, pasta and red wine nights like? And is that why you signed there?
I wouldn't know. I'm still waiting for an invite.
Really?
Yeah.
No invite?
No invite from Roo.
Well,
so
Matty
hopefully he's
Hamilton
listening
seems
to the
think
pod.
that you've been over to Roo for a pizza. So does Roo throw a few little dinners and whatnot for the boys?
Nah.
He doesn't?
Nah, he doesn't. Nah. I'm still waiting for the invite.
There you go. We have to hit Roo up. He looked hammered on the broadcast the other day. I don't know if he was, but someone put a video up going, how many beers has Roo had tonight? He must have forgot he had to do a live cross at the end of the game. Have you had much to do with Roo? Because he looks like a legend.
Yeah, I've had a bit to do with Roo. He's a ripping fella.
Does he own Adelaide? Because he owns all the pubs and that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a few pubs in Adelaide, a few in the country of SA, but yeah, he's a great fella, and I've had a fair bit to do with him, but no pizza or pastas from him.
A little bit of accountability
Yeah,
here, Roo.
and he's got the Italian heritage too, so you'd think he'd be pretty good
You've
at
got
that.
the skipper of the Crows as well. Like, what else do you have to do? Maybe
Don't have enough pool, mate, to get in his house.
Something's going on down there. We've got to sort that out. Toughest player you've played against from Caleb Kuzmic? It's a great question. You've played against a few and played different positions.
I think probably when I was playing halfback, I would say I got stuck on Dusty in 2019 just for like 5 minutes, and yeah, I don't know if it was like if it's just his aura or if he was actually doing things that he's just his star, but I just couldn't get near him, and he kicked a pretty good goal on me, and I just thought like you just got to clap your hands and just say well done, mate. Like and I think the aura of him actually playing on him was pretty surreal. And then in the midfield, I'd say probably playing on Touk Miller was pretty tough. Like first round this year, his work rate is just
mate. How hard is he? How hard? I mean, how fit does he look? But how hard does he work game day?
Yeah.
Like he runs and runs and runs, and he gets his own ball.
Yeah, he's I really admire the way he goes about it because he goes both ways. Well, he doesn't just go downhill. He's and their whole midfield is very good. Noah and Rowley, they're pretty powerful in there. So as a whole, they're pretty tough. But yeah, Touk, just his work rate, just trying to keep up with him. You end up cutting corners around the square because he's just doing laps. But he's probably
he
one.
tackle, like you said, he really he exhausts himself. It's one of the first blokes you'd want in a midfield is someone that goes two ways because he can hurt you offensively, but defensively you can trust him, and it's what you need. You need all those blokes buying in, don't you? There's a few one-way players. I give you the tip. They're generally the superstars. You need them as well, though. You need them. Who is your favourite all-time Crom player from Tyler Hinbrain?
Andrew McLeod.
Rui obviously would be back to the back of the pack after no invite.
No invite. If Roo has me around for dinner, maybe him. No, I mean, Roo, McLeod, like I said to Sloaney when he retired, watching him growing up, kind of my latter years at school and just being in Adelaide and watching him kind of dominate through those years. And then when I was in Sydney, just always admiring the way he goes about it. So they're probably the three, I think, Roo, McLeod and Sloan.
Now, mate, we don't go, I've got to give you a gift. Our Rixxies here. I've got you the Soho cherries, mate. So they're on the house. Anyone out there, rixxeyewear.com.au, head online and use ACES at checkout and you'll get 20% off and free express shipping and you'll be looking the goods. You'll be looking exactly like the Skip.
Thanks,
in
mate.
the Soho cherries, mate.
I already had some Rixxes, but...
Yeah, there you go. Well, you won't be wearing them in Melbourne. You won't be wearing them against the Pies. I can give you the tip. No. But, mate, keep them on just for this segment. I want to ask you, if there's one place in the world... RIXX on tour. Yeah, they look good. I've never seen someone not suit this. The Soho cherries, they're by far our number one seller, and the style. They're the cherry, you think it's out there, but it's not that out there. Somehow it fits. But I had the black ones there, but I thought I'd give you the cherries. Mate, RIXX on tour. I want you to tell me a place in the world you'd love to go. I'd imagine there's golf courses, just to give you a heads up. But the one place in the world that you would love to go and the two teammates you're taking and why?
I think I'd have to go to like Tuscany or something. I'd have to take a couple of golfers And so I'd probably take the Big Fog and Lockie Murphy.
Murph, he's first mentioned tonight.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
Give us a reason on both why.
Just real good energy, and they have the ability to bounce off each other. Fog can be a bit miserable sometimes, but Murph will lift the energy. And
is the Fog a yo-yo? Is he up and down?
Sometimes. I've been a bit harsh on him today, but he can be.
It means you love him. Fog, it means he loves you.
And also if we do have a hit of golf, there are a couple of blokes I love taking down and taking their scalp pretty convincingly.
Love that. So Murph goes all right with the clubs as well?
Nah.
Oh, so that's an easy one.
Oh, no. He's off 18. He's serviceable, but not.
He's like me. You just every now and then, Murph.
He's probably been playing for 10 years, though.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Not that long, but we'll say that.
He's having a crack. So the Fog sounds like a bloke you just love beating on the course.
Yeah. Yeah, because he'll give it to you as well.
Is he real lippy?
Yeah, he can be. If the chest comes out, he starts peacocking. He has a few pars, gets his 3-pointers. He's pretty happy with it.
Fog on the beers. When he's on the piss, does he do that as well? Get the chest out, especially now that he's developing into a big key forward.
Yeah, if he keeps kicking, it's almost a detriment to the club if he keeps kicking 4 because we might be in trouble around the club. So in the locker room, it's not good for us. But he's a very funny guy. So
I love his work. Like I said, I love watching him play. I like character. We love characters, and we love blokes that also have a crack. Well, mate, they're yours. They're the Rixxies. Anyone out there that wants to look like the Skip here, just rixxeyewear.com.au and use the discount code ACES at checkout. You get 20% off, 1/5 that is, for anyone that loves maths, and you get free express shipping. So make sure you head online and do that one. And Soho Cherries, we've got plenty more styles, but they're the most popular. Mate, you can take them off. But, mate, that's pretty much all I've got. I just want to say thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate the gift that you got us as well. I'll reveal that next week with the pig. We'll save that one for Aces Premiership Countdown. In fact, it'll probably come out before this, so people will they'll see what's going on here. But, mate, thank you so much. And all the best for the rest of the year. Like I said, you guys it's such an even comp. Every game is just a flip of the coin, and doing your tips is impossible at the moment.
You tip us this week?
I have tipped you this week. I said Collingwood yesterday on the pod, but that was only if my high check plays. I'm a man of integrity. I think he's out, so I'm leaning Adelaide now. So I was waiting for the side. And wet weather, it's going to be wet, isn't it? So,
who knows? But I think it's meant to be all right.
Don't let me down, mate. Don't let me down, all right? I'm just creeping my way back into this tipping competition.
No, I won't. Well, I know you need a couple of wins, a couple of odd ones. So
I've got the Sunnies of the tip Carlton, and I think I can go 3 from 3. But mate, honestly, all the best. Keep that exciting game plan. I'm glad the shape is sorted and the contest method's sorted, because when you boys are going, there's no one more exciting in the competition. I really appreciate you coming over here. And this is before game day, guys. This is the night before, but it's been tough to tee this up for the last year or two. But, mate, I appreciate it, and looking forward to that game of golf. I'll make sure the Fog's on my side, and you can pick someone else, and we might even play a little Ambrose or something for some fun. But, thanks, mate. I really appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Thank you.
Done. And everyone out there, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate your support. Like, subscribe, send this one to your friends if they haven't seen this podcast before, and we'll see you on the next episode of Tommy Talks. One more time, because I really mean it. I just want to say a massive thank you for all the support you continue to give us at the Ausmerican Aces. If you want to further support us, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the follow button so you can keep up to date with all our exciting shows and announcements. Righto, now it's time to give our sponsors a massive plug. This episode is brought to you by AAMI. Clangers happen. Lucky you're with AAMI. Aces, I know I always go on about the Rixxies, but I got huge news. We have all our styles and colours restocked on the website right now. It's been months. We ran out of stock, but we're back. Get online, grab some sunglasses at rixxeyewear.com.au right now, and use our little discount code ACES if you want a 20% discount code on the house.